Hey guys, so it's Sunday afternoon and I want to weld these pieces together here. I just got back with the dog. It was a little late this morning. I overslept, which is a good thing because I really don't get that much good sleep. I don't know why I don't sleep good, but I don't. Anyway, it looks like it was a good night's sleep last night. And we got 2 more inches of snow, which I'm not going to plow. But we're also supposed to get another 1 to 3 inches tonight. So that'll give me plowing for tomorrow then. You know, I don't get a lot of comments that have to do with safety, and I'm glad I don't, because my safety is what it is from inside of me. I don't listen to what other people say, because sometimes what people tell you is a safe act is really not a safe act. I've seen so many problems with things where people think that what they're doing is a good thing, only to find out that it wasn't so good. I mean, I've seen all kinds of people, you know, have masks on, protective footwear, this, that, and the other thing, and there's a gas can sitting 5 feet away from them. So, you know, some things are more important to watch than others, but I do wear what I need to wear when things are, you know, when they reach a certain point. So anyway, I want to get this stuff welded together and ground down and all, so that I can get these together as quickly as I can here. I got goofed up the past 2 days because of the snow and stuff, and I had to run Sally in to pick up prescriptions and different things that we needed. So anyway, I'm going to be welding this right in here, and I'll show it to you after I'm done with it there then. Okay guys, so I want to show you this. This is cut on the 90-degree side where the orange is, on as good a 90 as I can measure. Okay, I put it on the milling machine and it's cut very nice and square there, and it's flat. So that orange represents, I have it on both sides, that orange represents the angle iron for the bunk rail. Now that's where my bevel siding cutter has to sit, on top of the bunk rail. Okay, now if you look at that, there's a number of ways I could have done this. I could have made this in such a way that the bevel siding cutter would have grabbed the whole of one piece here, but that doesn't make it very stable, and I wanted something that was going to be stable and that he could just slide down onto real easy. So I came up with this, and I think that this thing works, is a good example for me to work with. For one thing, the angle iron that I have there, or the, you know, the simulated angle iron, is true, so it's, you know, going to be giving me something that I can see if I'm okay with the measurements I have of the parts that I made. So now you have to imagine this thing, instead of 1/4 of an inch thick, you have to imagine this, you know, almost 3 feet long, because that's what the bunk rails are. So this would represent something about 3 feet long. So anyway, this is a tool to help me to keep the bevel siding jig hold down parts 3 inches wide, and not to let them scatter too far from that 3 inches. I mean, if it's off a 1/16 wide, it's not going to hurt anything. If it's narrow, it's no good at all. It has to be, you know, either +3 or that's it, but it can't be a -3. Alright, so then, let me just turn you over here. So here are my two pieces for the bottom of the bunk rail. I'll just back up a little bit. So what we have here then, now you imagine the angle iron without the piece I'm holding. I just put that there so I had something to hold on to. So the angle iron is going to be like this. And that's how the bevel siding jig is going to rest onto the angle iron. And it's important that it just slip down on. I don't want the guy to have to bolt anything onto that, drill any holes or anything else, because when you're changing attachments on a saw or anywhere, if you have to do a lot of bolting and unbolting and stuff, it makes it becomes a nuisance. Because, you know, if you're cutting, let's say you're cutting 8x8s into siding, it doesn't take long to cut one of the siding 8x8s, and then if you don't have a bunch of 8x8s cut and you're working with regular logs, one log after the other, then you're going to have to take these off and start over and, you know, do your cutting and then come back again. So I'm not too crazy about having to put bolts in anything. So what I did was I figured, okay, there's the angle iron, there's my piece that's going to slip down onto it, and then I'm going to build the bevel siding jig on top of that. Alright, so what I did here was there's one facing one way, and then I have the other one facing the opposite way. And there's a reason for that, and I was looking at the video of the sawmill that the guy has, and it looks as though some of these angle irons go like this. They're not all the same direction, so I'm going to do one way and one the other way. If there's some sort of a problem with that and it doesn't work out for them, because this is kind of like a test thing for me, because it's the newest. I mean, building the bevel siding jig is not an issue, but building the attachment bracket, that can be an issue depending upon what you're working with. So anyway, that's how the other side works. Now you can see on this side here, I have to pull this in a little bit. I was looking at this. This is a good 90 inside here, but when I welded the outside of this, it sort of pulled this out a little bit. So I'm going to just be able to bump that in before I actually do a lot of heavy welding. I'm just putting tacks in there just so that I can, you know, get myself set up to see what this thing is going to look like, and then I'll cut it, trim it down and all, and it'll be nice and, you know, no burrs or whatever when I'm all finished with that. But that's what that's like. So I think now when you look at this, imagine the orange piece 3 feet long. That is how they're going to rest onto the that's how the bevel siding jigs are going to rest onto the sawmill. So anyway, I believe that this will work good. All this is a matter of it's a matter of grabbing a hold of this and just setting it down onto it, rather than having to bolt anything or fool around with it. Now I'm just hoping that the opposite the opposite way that the angle is facing is going to work for me here. I mean, I need this to work. So one angle's facing that direction over here, then on this side the angle's facing in the opposite direction, like this. So I have to make him fit a little bit better yet. It doesn't need a lot more work, just a little bit, and then I can go ahead and weld everything and then trim that down and then make the bevel siding jig that sits on top of it. Now this bevel siding jig for this thing, because the angle irons are 3 feet or 3 inches wide, that's 3 inches here and 3 inches on the outside there, that makes that top there 3.5 inches. Normally I don't have to go that wide, I only go like 3 inches or less. So this jig is going to be a little bit wider than what the other jigs I make are. Not going to make any bit of a difference. It'll just be a little bit wider piece to work with. It's not going to really, you know, help it any or not. It's not really making it any stronger, because actually the narrower it is, the stronger it is as far as when it's being, when the bevel siding is rested on it, or the 8-inch cant, I should say. But anyway, that's where I'm at today, Sunday, and I'm gonna go take Bullseye out again because it's getting late already. I had built a fire in my garage today, and it's got about 55 in here or so. It's not burning that hard. But Bullseye wants to go out a little bit, and I'll show you the snow that we have out here. Altogether, I would say we probably got about 15 inches in the woods. Okay, when the dog goes in, he's pretty bogged down. You can see there's about a little more than a foot on top of that wood over there. So it feels like winter now. I actually like when it's like this in the winter time. I mean, if I had already plowed 50 times, I would be pretty sick of it, but I didn't. I only plowed like twice this year, or maybe 3 times this year so far. So we're supposed to get 1 to 3 inches tonight. If we get that, then I'll plow tomorrow morning, and that'll be good. So this makes it feel like winter, and this is the reason I moved here. So anyway, alright guys, so if you have any questions or comments that you want to make about this, go ahead and make them. I'd be happy to read them, and we'll go from there. This set of jigs here, I probably should have charged him a little more for these because of the width of the metal and stuff. But I'm not going to worry about that, because the guy's actually doesn't realize it. He's helping me to develop the setup bracket for the bevel siding cutter on an angle iron. So this actually is helping me to find out how good this will work, and then hopefully he'll send me some either video or just pictures of it working. That's what I'm interested in. So, alright guys, well, I'll talk to you probably tomorrow, Monday. Have a good one. Bye. Because of the snow, the branches on the hemlock there are hanging down. You can't quite see the container where I put the corn, where they're really acting up. There it is. There's 4 there right now, but there's 2 more somewhere else running around I saw. Very nice. This first one way up here by me is pretty big.